106.7 KROQ is KROQ. The Kevin and Bean Show at 7:18.
But I'm confused, Kevin. That sounds like Weezer, but those guys don't put out records anymore. What are we listening to there?
Hey, Weezer.
How are you,
guys.
Weezer?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the Shack.
Thank you.
Good to be back.
The new album is called Everything Will Be All Right in the End. Expected release date is September 30th. We just heard the brand new song Back to the Shack. Great to hear Weezer on KROQ again, and great to see you guys again. This is a song that a lot of your fans are already familiar with from seeing it on YouTube from the cruise. Why'd you choose this one for the first number back? I stumped him with the first question.
They're all looking at each other trying to...
I think it has a good rock sound that you want to hear from Weezer, and at the same time, it sounds like there's something new. We're trying something new, and yet it could only be Weezer.
Is that a difficult line to walk where you want Weezer fans to know that it's Weezer and you want them to get what they expect but not repeat yourself? And is that difficult?
That's exactly the difficult line we're always walking as we move forward in our career, yeah. We want to try new things, and at the same time, we want it to be recognizably Weezer.
It's also relatively simple to play, and it seems like that's been a pattern with our first singles, like the Sweater Song. Mm-hmm. And we're going to perform it on Jimmy Fallon this Wednesday.
So you pick the easiest one to play, and then,
absolutely.
And then you're ready to go?
That's the way we do it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that way.
We have some challenging music on this new record.
But it's not that easy. Like the riff is strong, and you got to have, you got to be on your game.
I said relatively simple.
He said relatively.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the shack that you reference in the song, you tweeted out a picture a few days ago of something that you called the original shack, a studio that you have previously recorded in. Is that part of what this song is about, is kind of going back to your roots a little bit, going back to the early days? Am I reading too much into that title?
No, that's right. There's different levels of meaning. It's true, there's always been like a little place, a little hovel where we make a lot of our creative work. The original garage that we sang about on our first album. And I still have a place like that where I wrote most of the record in the garage behind my house. And at the same time, I think metaphorically it could stand for Weezer coming back to being closer to our fans and closer to the larger Weezer community. And that's something we've done over the last few years with the cruise. And then just after every show we play, we tend to have about 10 to 30 fans come back, and we just hang out and talk and really get to know each other better. And so I think there's that level of meaning, too, in Back to the Shack. We're coming back to the core Weezer community.
I was terrified for you guys when I heard that you were going out on a cruise because you're the kind of band that has rabid enough fans that you could sell out a cruise, and that's great. But you're also the type of band that has fans that are so deeply into you that I would imagine it would be awkward, and you'd have a lot of uncomfortable encounters trying to walk around on the ship, just trying to get something to eat.
Because you're stuck.
Yeah, but it's not. I had a big fear of that too. But you will not find a more polite, respectful group of fans. I don't think. I mean, like, because I had my wife and son, and people would just be like, "Oh, Scott, okay, cool, I'll talk to you later." Like, going to get coffee, hanging out. Super cool people.
None of you felt cornered at any point, like you might have to jump?
No.
I mean, I think
hang out on the top of the boat and have beers with people. It was awesome.
So they got to be starstruck the first minute they see you, but then you just kind of become friendly, I guess.
Yeah, we punch them.
Just hanging out.
And then it's over.
Hit them right at the beginning.
Because I just had visions of you guys like running from the stage back to your rooms with fans going after you, just trying to pull articles of clothing off of you for souvenirs, and it just sounded like a potential nightmare.
Somehow it's always good. I don't know. It's good.
How many of those have you done, the cruises?
2.
2 different times?
Yeah.
Sweet.
What's great is that there's a whole bunch of... It's basically like a festival at sea that we're headlining.
A festival at sea.
So there's lots of other bands on the boat, too, that we can bond with and go see.
Do you ever play with any other band members? Do you ever go up with them and jam?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, sometimes.
Make a lot of new friends. Cat Power was really amazing on this cruise.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We're actually really busy on the cruise. In addition to all of our shows, they have us leading a number of other activities. I did a small an acoustic performance for a small audience I think Scott.
Me
was
and Pat had to do some game show and put balance like soccer balls on our heads.
I wondered where that sentence was going.
Anyways, but that was
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I don't think I was able to sit down and have dinner until the third day.
Really?
Yeah, that's how busy we were.
Wow, that seems like
that?
maybe they were a little too busy.
Yeah,
It's all good.
Any of you call bingo? You ever get up there and call a bingo game?
No, dude, we had a boat workout. We had what else we do? We had arts and crafts, and Pat built ships out of matchsticks.
That's not. None of this is true.
You guys are making
this
this
is not
all
true.
up. You guys are making everything up, aren't you?
These are the voices of the gentlemen in the band Weezer here on the Kevin and Bean Show at KROQ. We just played their new song, Back to the Shack. We'll be playing it again for you here in a couple minutes. The album is called Everything Will Be All Right in the End. Expected release date is September 30th. And you called up your old friend, producer Rick Ocasek, for this record. It's been a little bit since you worked with him. How come?
Well, we thought about it long and hard, and we talked to a number of producers, and ultimately we realized we wanted to make a record that had the sonic qualities of our first record. And really, who could do a better job than Rick, who produced that first record? Mm-hmm. So we started talking to him, and it started to feel very exciting again. And he came out to L.A. and brought his two Les Paul guitars, which we recorded that whole first album with. And once we plugged everything in and got going, it was just the magic came back, and it was very fun and exciting for all of us.
How does he, as a producer, make a difference with you guys? How does he? What does he bring? How does he
really,
change?
He doesn't have to do much. He just has to be in the room. And,
Well, I could do that.
we're-
You know, man. I'm saying, what does he bring to the band? If
Well,
it's just
He says, "That's great. Do it again."
right, I could do that as well.
he has a sense of a musical style and a musical knowledge that you trust. And he also hung out with Andy Warhol.
Well, I didn't do that. So.
Yeah.
So that makes him cooler than anyone, I guess, right?
But I think Scott put it best when he said, even when we hear that he's on his way to the studio, we all start playing differently. There's just something about having this all-time new wave rock legend around us that ups our game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're challenged. You feel challenged to step it up a notch.
Yeah, it's not as much fooling around. Like, wow, this has to be great. It has to have the energy, and it has to be cool, and we can't be wasting time here.
Have you ever
That's interesting.
have you ever had any songs that you were going to play and then go, oh, that one's not ready yet. I don't want to do that one in front of Rick.
Absolutely.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to waste a guy's time. I mean,
Right.
you see him in the control room with his presence and his vibe.
Well,
I'm making these hand signals
You
now,
are.
but it's
No one
like
can see it, but
it's
it's all right.
not somebody you want to mess around with. It's almost like the Don Corleone of new wave.
Yeah, I
Does that
called
make
our
sense?
management. We make sure we get a
Yes,
rehearsal
he's
in
the-
before Rick walks in this room.
He's the Italian mob leader of New Wave.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He always struck me as such a, I don't know him. I don't even think we've ever had him on this show in the years at KROQ. Of course, he was the leader of the Cars, for folks who recognize the name. They were a huge band back in the 70s and 80s, and he was a guy who basically walked away from it, right? Decided to go on the other side of the glass and made his living as a producer for a long, long time. Does he play much music himself anymore, or is he hands off?
Well, I think the Cars did a record 2 years ago.
They did. They did
played
reunite briefly,
Coachella,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, most of the time he's not picking up an instrument, but then in those rare moments when he does pick up the guitar and starts playing something, and it's so instantly recognizably that sound from the Cars, but he's playing one of our songs or coming up with an idea for one of our songs. It just feels like such a precious moment, and I'm so glad to be there.
That's fun. All right, we have to take a very quick break with the band Weezer here on the Kevin and Bean Show. Everything will be all right in the end. We got a lot more questions about that. You can also contact us on the Kevin and Bean Facebook page or email or Twitter or whatever if you got some questions you wanted to ask as well. And we're going to play that song again for you called Back to the Shack right after this here on KROQ.